You know, people always ask me why do I have a preference for LG OLEDs? What is it about the organic light emitting diodes that I like? Well, one of the one of the main reasons why I always preferred OLED over the traditional liquid crystal display LCD LED backlit, it's because OLED, it's a self-emissive technology. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people seem to be confused when it comes to little tiny organic light emitting diodes. They're little tiny pixels, millions of pixels, in this case 8.3 million pixels, that are self emitting individually, and they can turn off and on individually. What does that mean? That means that every and each color that you see on this screen will be represented like it would be in person, in real life, with your own two eyes. And that's something that traditional LCD, LED backlit televisions simply cannot do. It is impossible for them to do that. Even though I know LCD, LED backlit televisions have advanced a little bit with a more local dimming zones. I know they even have mini LEDs to give you even more local dimming zones. But the problem is you're still using a LCD panel, which is a liquid crystal display, and you still are required that LED backlit. That means the light still has to go through that liquid crystal display. And that means that there's no way in a dark room like right now I'm in that you'll be able to see a black levels be as black as they are, like they are on the OLED, and to see these colors be brought to life as they are. That's just simply not possible with a LCD LED traditional televisions. I know you guys want to talk about your Samsung Mini LED. I get it. It's definitely a step up into a right direction, but still, you're using LCD, okay? When you stop using LCD panel, and then you are using something called micro LEDs without the LCD, then you are in par with OLED technology. But so far, we haven't heard anything from micro LEDs since 2020. Samsung hasn't really said much about micro LEDs. Samsung, it's more focused on OLED. Isn't that funny? QD LED. I mean the QD OLED, quantum dot OLEDs. So Samsung now wants to use a quantum dots with OLED to bring a more vibrant color accuracy with a higher peak brightness. So that tells you that the OLED has pretty much won this battle. Pretty much has been winning this battle of the televisions, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. That's my subjective opinion. Um, if you look at the OLED in the past, 5 years, 6 years, it's been truly dominating. Sony's using the OLED. Panasonic is using the OLED. TCL, it's using the OLED. Vizio, it's using the OLED. And now Samsung, it's going to be using the OLED with the quantum dot slash OLED technology. So what does this tell you? This tells you that the OLED is pushing through and dominating this market. I haven't heard anything from micro LED. Uh, like I said, the entire micro LED announcement has been scrapped. Who knows when it's going to happen, if it's even going to happen, because Samsung seems to be more focused on OLED with quantum dots. So that tells you that we may not see micro LEDs. Um, the only reason I'm making this video because I really don't care which TV you go for. I just want you to understand the difference in technology. LCD, LED are probably, well, not probably, they are the most brightest televisions. But they're also sacrificing on other things. They're sacrificing on the viewing angle. They're sacrificing on the black levels. You cannot achieve the contrast ratio that the OLED can achieve, right? But they are advancing in peak brightness and, of course, higher color gamut. But it's very important, before I end this video, for people to understand that it's impossible for an LCD panel with some sort of LED backlit in the back to compete with organic light emitting diodes. That's just simply not possible. I don't care how many local dimming zones you put. I don't care if you're using little tiny mini LEDs. As long as you're using that LCD display, you're gonna never be able to compete with OLED technology. It's just not gonna happen. So I just want people to understand that the difference between the OLED and LCD LED. OLED doesn't require any LED backlit. It doesn't have any LEDs. It doesn't have any LCD. It has its own self-lit emissive every and each 8.3 million pixels that lights up individually. They turn on and off individually. That means that every color that you see here will be self-lit individually. And LCD, LED simply cannot do that. So I hope that this video gives you a little bit of a better understanding on the difference between LCD, LED, and OLED, and why I prefer OLED. Now, I don't really worry about the burn-in that much because I've been using OLED for quite a long time. And what you're looking at here, it's a E8 OLED since 2018, and still here I am rocking this E8 OLED and still don't have any problems, don't have any issues with the burn-in. Why that is? Because I know how to use my OLED. LG gives me all sorts of different tools that I can use to prevent any possible future burn-in to minimum. And those tools, it's something that I've been using for quite a lot, like energy saving, I keep it at medium. Pixel refresher, I use it once in a while. And I haven't had any issues. Clearly, as you can see. Neither one of my OLEDs that I have. And I got 3 of them. So, anyway, I hope that this video gives you a little observation between these two different technologies, OLED and LCD LED. Remember, LCD technology requires LED backlit, some sort of light behind it, some projection of light behind it. All right, liquid crystal displays requires some light behind it. Whether it's the LED or mini LED, whatever you put, it requires a light. That means that that light has to be projected. While the OLED doesn't require any backlit light behind it, because every and each organic light emitting diodes are self-emissive. They're self-lit. And this is why OLED is the winner, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Alright guys, I'm going to see you later. I got some interesting videos coming up regarding the OLED, especially with the C2. And I'll see you guys later.